Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jonathan here, head of trading at MPC Markets, and I'm going to talk about the US election. So, unless you've been living under a rock, there's this circus that is coming to hopefully an end this week, which is the US election. So, it could either be President Trump or President Kamala in a few days' time. Now, main thing is that here as Australians, we want to know what the important times are. So the election is actually Tuesday in the US, which is actually Wednesday Sydney time, which is where I'm recording it. Now the important times are is midday Wednesday is when the first 30 states actually close their polls. Now back in 2016 when Trump first got into power, um, midday was when the markets started. Showed the first few states swinging towards Trump, and that swayed the whole market then. So that was actually quite a volatile day for trading. I remember the markets went limit down at one stage. So all in all, expect some volatility. So midday Wednesday is when the fireworks should start for us here in Australia. 2 p.m. is when the Midwest closes, so that's obviously another key time. And California or the West Coast, they close on at 5 p.m. And unless it's a landslide victory, it does take a few hours to finally get a result. And here in Australia, we'd like to get a result usually by 6 p.m., which is when we get the news. But usually it's more like around 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock is when a winner is announced. But that is if everything goes smoothly, and I'll chat about what could actually delay things. So in terms of trading, and here as investors, how do we actually follow on who's winning the election? And here at MPC, these are a couple of markets that we follow just to show you how we look at things. So at the moment, this election is very very polarizing. It's not as if it's like, oh, if Trump wins, it should be okay, or if Kamala wins, it should be okay. The only thing that we see in certain is that whoever wins, half of America is not going to be happy, and pretty much half the world is not going to be happy. So, if Kamala gets elected, obviously, Trump's already talked about that he'll thinks it'll be a rigged result, and I'm pretty sure the Democrats will think the same thing if Trump gets elected as well. So it's basically the hardest thing about this election is just you know, the news is very divisive as well. So I've got social media feeds on Twitter or X, which are obviously because Elon's running with Trump is very pro Republican, and then obviously to balance that out, I follow all the legacy media, and obviously most of them are very very democratic in terms of their how can I say their narrative on how they report things. So yeah, it's not as if it's a very fair election. So you have to be take everything with a grain of salt, especially as you're following along. So one of the most objective ways to actually follow it is actually through betting markets, and there's two that are readily available. So the first one I've got here is the Betfair market. So this is I'm recording this Monday afternoon, roughly about 2 o'clock, and these are the current markets. So you see, Trump is a slight favorite, $1.80. Kamala's 2.24. Now the thing with these betting markets is that they don't always have it right. It's basically that's the current best price that they can come with at the moment. So going back to 2016, I remember Trump was somewhere around the $9 or $10 mark going into the election. And then after that, sort of the first swing states results came around, it just spun everything on a dime, and that was a very volatile period. So that's the one market there, Betfair market. The other one is, and this is the bigger one that it's more, how can I say, even bigger than Betfair is the poly markets market. So this is actually a blockchain technology. So they have they use a chain in the background to run this. But you can just see there, over $3 billion have been settled on this result, and it has Donald Trump as a slight favorite. So here I am Monday afternoon. It's at 54%. From recently as Friday, which is only about 3 days ago, Donald Trump was more like a 66% favorite on these poly markets. So you can just see that it is volatile, and things are swinging the other way as well. So here we go. And the main thing that we see as as traders and investors is that what's the main risk that we see going forward with these elections. So obviously, you know, we're not trying to predict who's going to win, and we're not trying. I'm not trying to give a sway on who I prefer to win. It's just more what's the main risk that we see, and from our point of view, the main risk that we see is that if it's an actual no clear winner, if Trump gets into power or Kamala gets into power and it's a clear victory, it doesn't matter who gets in. Just generally, both are actually good for the markets, and that's kind of all we're looking for. Is that if there's a decisive winner, whether it be Democrat or Republican, the markets they have to deal with that uncertainty, and they should rally. And just to emphasize that point, so this is a seasonality chart of the S&P. So you can just see that during November, December, in a normal year, we usually have a good rally in November and December. Now, during election years, it's a little bit different, meaning that it does rally in November and December as well. So you can just see that whether it's a presidential year or whether it's a normal year in the S&P, seasonality, November and December just shows a rally into year's end. And that could just be that just generally fund managers have to play catch up. They're paid on performance, and they if they've missed out on this rally or they're lagging behind, the only way that they can actually play catch up is actually to invest in the markets, and that's what you see here. So basically, the way we see it is that the biggest risk in this current election is that if there's no clear winner, if there is no clear winner, and this gets drawn out, over a few days, there will be volatility, and we just think that that is an actual opportunity to get long as well. So just in general, so that's our the way we see things on this election week, and so just to summarize, expect volatility. So we've already seen a few stories of election rigging, or both sides accusing each other of how can I say games already. So expect volatility. It's not going to be a clear result. The thing is, manage your risk. But just in general, I think the key thing here is that whether it's an election year or whether it's a normal year, November and December is usually very strong seasonality. So I think these are opportunities, and just generally, you want to buy the dip. So that's me, just with our election summary here at MPC Markets. Jonathan Tacadena, Head of Trading. If you have any questions about the elections or you want to chat more, feel free to get in touch with us here at MPC Markets. Thanks.